Hi everyone. We're going to do a quick review on rounding to the nearest 10 and rounding to the nearest 100. Alright, so we're going to go over our procedure, our process, the way that we do this. So the first thing we do is we find the place value we're rounding to. Then we go right next door and our bossy neighbor tells us what to do based on the rule. If the bossy neighbor is a 0 through 4, our place value stays. If our bossy neighbor is a 5 through a 9, then our place value goes up 1 digit. Okay, so we follow the rule, and then we don't like our bossy neighbor, so we're going to get a new neighbor, which is always a 0, and then we're all happy. All right, so we are going to start by rounding to the nearest 10. Rounding to the nearest 10. So when we round to the nearest 10, the first thing we do is find our tens place. So in the number 46, our tens place is our 4. All right, we found our place value. We're going to go right next door. And our bossy neighbor is a 6. Okay, if our bossy neighbor is a 6, then it tells our place value to go up. So our place value is a 4, it goes up just 1 to a 5, and then we get a new neighbor, and everyone's happy. Okay, let's do the number 13. Let's round 13 to the nearest 10. So we're going to find our tens place, which is our 1, and we're going to go right next door. Right next door. Okay, our bossy neighbor is a 3. The 3 tells our 1 to stay. So our 1 stays, but then we're going to get a new neighbor. And we're all going to be happy. Okay, now we're going to do a couple of tricky ones, which shouldn't be that tricky because we did this in class. We're just refreshing your memory. All right, so we have the number 181. 181, and we're going to round it to the nearest 10. So we're still finding our tens place, okay? So in the number 181, where is our tens place? Very good, our tens place is the 8. And we're gonna go right next door, right next door. Our bossy neighbor is a 1. The 1 is going to tell our 8 to stay. Our 8 stays. Now the hundreds place didn't do anything, so we're going to bring that along with us. But we are going to get a new neighbor because this guy was bossy. So there we go. Okay? One more tricky one. Rounding to the nearest 10. Our number is 7. Where is the tens place? This is a 1. This is a ones place. Our tens place would be right there next to it. Okay? There's nothing there. So we're going to take our tens place and we're going to go next door to our bossy neighbor, which is a 7. The 7 tells our 0 to go up. And then we get a new neighbor. All right? Rounding to the nearest 10. If you're rounding to the nearest 10, if your instructions say round to the nearest 10, you find the tens place. All right? Now, if we're rounding to the nearest 100, what place value are we looking for? Very good. We are looking for our hundreds place if we are rounding to the nearest 100. So, we are going to start with the number 429. We're rounding to the nearest 100. So we're going to find our hundreds place. Ones, tens, hundreds. All right? We go right next door. Don't skip any place values. We are going right next door. Our bossy neighbor is a 2. The 2 is going to tell our hundreds place to stay. So our 4 stays. And this time, since we're rounding to the nearest 100, our answer has to be something 100. So we're going to get 2 new neighbors. 400. All right? Let's do another one. 691. We're rounding to the nearest 100, so we need to find our hundreds place. Our 6 is our hundreds place. We go right next door, and our bossy neighbor is a 9. The 9 tells our 600 to go up. So our 6 goes up 1 to a 7. And since we're rounding to the nearest 100, we need to get 2 new neighbors for our new neighbors, okay? 53, but we are rounding to the nearest 100. So we need to find our hundreds place. There are no hundreds. Where would our hundreds place be? Our hundreds place would be here. There aren't any. Here's a 0, 0 hundreds. But we're still gonna put that 0 there and go next door to our 5 is our bossy neighbor, and 5 tells us to go up. So our 0 hundreds become 1, and then we get our 2 new neighbors. All right, one more. 137, rounding to the nearest 100. We find our hundreds place, go right next door. Our bossy 3 tells us to stay. So our 1 stays, and we get 2 new neighbors. All right, I'm gonna zoom in on the procedure so that if you need to pause the video and have this for a reference, then you will have it. Here's our examples and our practice that we did. So, hope that you remember how much time we spent on this. Okay, there we go. And good luck.